A Nigerian judge just did something that has never happened before in this country. He looked a court of appeal order directly in the face and ignored it. And because of that one decision, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar may have just lost his path to the presidency. Governor Adeleke may have just lost his ticket to defend his seat in Osun State. And 5 political parties may have just been wiped off the Nigerian map before 2027 even starts. If you are not watching this story right now, you are not ready for what is coming. Let me break this down from the beginning so you understand exactly what happened and why it should scare every Nigerian who believes in democracy. It started with a group called the Incorporated Trustees of the National Forum of Former Legislators. They went to the Federal High Court in Abuja and filed a suit asking one simple question: does INEC have a constitutional obligation to deregister political parties that have failed to meet the electoral performance threshold set out in Section 225A of the 1999 Constitution? Their argument was straightforward. The law says a political party must win at least 25% of votes in a presidential election in at least one state, or must win at least one elective seat at the national, state, or local government level. If you cannot do that, you have no business being on the ballot. 5 parties failed that test according to the plaintiffs: the African Democratic Congress, the Accord Party, the Action People's Party, the Action Alliance, and the Zenith Labour Party. Go. All 5 of you. Gone. Now here is where it gets complicated. And this is the part that should make every Nigerian sit up. Before Justice Peter Lifu could deliver his judgment, the affected parties rushed to the Court of Appeal. And on May 22, 2026, a 3-member panel of the Court of Appeal led by Justice Muhammad Danjuma did something very significant. They granted a stay of proceedings. That means, stop everything. Nobody move. The Federal High Court cannot take any further steps on this matter until the appeal is heard and determined. That order was put on record. It was presented to Justice Peter Lifu in his own courtroom as Exhibit Mark II. He saw it. He knew it existed. And then he delivered his judgment anyway. The ADC's own lawyer stood up in court and said, "Sincerely, my lords, what the trial judge did was dare this Court of Appeal by insisting that no one could arrest his judgment, even after his attention was drawn to the stay order." Let that sink in. A Federal High Court judge, with a written Court of Appeal order sitting in front of him, delivered a judgment that same Court of Appeal had specifically told him he could not deliver. That is not just unusual in Nigerian legal history. That is extraordinary. And the question every Nigerian should be asking is, who gave this judge the confidence to do that? Because the political consequences of this ruling are enormous. Let us start with Atiku Abubakar. The former vice president, 2-time presidential candidate, the man who has been chasing Osun Rock for over 20 years, he had just won the ADC presidential ticket. He had made a calculated decision to leave his previous political home and rebuild his presidential ambition on the ADC platform, positioning himself to lead a coalition against President Tinubu in 2027. With this ruling, if it stands, that platform is gone. His ticket is gone. He would have to start again from scratch, finding a new party, going through primaries again, all of this less than 12 months before a presidential election. Atiku himself described the ruling as the height of judicial rascality, and a desperate attempt by the ruling party to undermine the opposition and entrench a de facto one-party state in Nigeria. Then there is Governor Adeleke of Osun State. The dancing governor. He is due for re-election in August 2026, that is less than 2 months away. He had already won the Accord Party governorship ticket. His campaign machinery was already running. And now the court has ordered the deregistration of the very party on whose ticket he is running. The governor did not hide his anger. He said the judgment was an abuse of court process and a direct violation of a subsisting Court of Appeal order. And here is what makes Adeleke's situation even more urgent than Atiku's. Atiku still has time. But Adeleke's election is in August. If the Accord Party deregistration is not reversed quickly, he may literally have no party to run on when Osun goes to the polls. Now INEC, the umpire, has also spoken. And this is significant. INEC backed the 5 parties in their bid to halt the deregistration. INEC's own lawyer stood up in court and said, "We do not oppose the application to stay the execution of the judgment." That is INEC, the body that was ordered to carry out the deregistration, publicly saying they do not want to execute this order. When the referee sides with the team that the judge ruled against, you know something is deeply wrong. An INEC had previously put on record that none of the 5 parties had actually violated any registration requirement under their interpretation of the law. Peter Obi also weighed in. The former Labour Party candidate, now presidential candidate of the Nigeria Democratic Congress, told lawyers and judges across Nigeria to take back your country. He warned that what is happening to these parties today is a warning sign for every opposition platform in Nigeria. And he is not alone. Omoyele Sowore condemned the ruling. The PDP called it a continuation of what they described as APC's persistent efforts to undermine the opposition. Former Kaduna Governor Nasir El-Rufai, who himself has been in court facing criminal charges that were adjourned just yesterday to June 24th, warned that what is happening to the judiciary threatens the entire foundation of Nigerian democracy. So where does this go from here? The ADC has already headed to the Court of Appeal to challenge the ruling and seek an emergency stay of execution. INEC has backed that application. The hearing is scheduled, but every day that passes without a reversal is another day Atiku has no presidential platform and Adeleke has no governorship ticket. The Court of Appeal will now have to decide whether to press what the ADC's own lawyer called the reset button on a lower court that dared to defy its orders. And that decision, whenever it comes, will tell us everything we need to know about the true state of Nigeria's judiciary heading into 2027. Here is the bottom line. Nigeria's 2027 election is not starting in 2027. It started the moment Oyebanji won in Ekiti. It accelerated the moment Diazoni walked free from a London court. And it is fully on fire right now with 5 parties potentially wiped off the map and a judge who looked the higher court in the eye and said, "I do not care." What you are watching is not just a legal dispute between politicians and a court. You are watching the opening moves of the most consequential political battle this country has seen since 1999. And Niger News Briefcase will be here for every single move. Hit subscribe, drop your comment. Do you think this is democracy under attack, or do these parties deserve to go? I will see you in the next one.